Hi, welcome to week 2 of our class. Before I go into week 2, I do have a few things that I want to go over to make sure that we all have a good understanding of. First, I wanted to remind you that we do have an Ask Your Instructor discussion board. That's a really good place if you have a question that you think somebody else might have the same question, like how to find a certain part of an assignment or clarification about an assignment. If I would ask that you place it in the Ask Your Instructor discussion board, because if I answer you, I'm probably answering one of your classmates' questions as well. Um, Make sure that if you are interested in attending our synchronous meetups, which are optional, they're going to be Tuesday nights at 8:30. Everybody should have received an invitation to a Teams meeting. Um, Even if you think you may, like slim chance that you might attend one of them, just accept the meeting so it shows up on your calendar and you have it. If you did not get the invitation, make sure you send me a message so I can re-invite you. And if there's a different email you want me to invite you other than your University of Hartford email, let me know that as well. Just for clarification, I did notice in week 1 that quite a few people were late with their initial discussions for the initial prompts, answers to the initial prompts for the discussion. So, moving forward, I'm not going to grade people, I'm not going to hold people responsible for that for week 1. I'm going to let that sort of slide by a little bit on week 1. But starting this week in week 2, you must have your initial response to the prompt completed by Friday night at midnight. And then respond to at least 3 of your classmates by Tuesday night at midnight. So if you don't have your initial responses completed by Friday night at midnight, you will lose points on your discussion. So I know the calendar says that discussions are due by Tuesday at midnight, but it's really a 2-part due date, and the calendar only accommodates me using one due date. So the final due date for everything is listed in the due dates, but it's really important. And I did notice that quite a few of you who have taken courses with me before were actually late with your initial responses to the prompt. And I think that hopefully, you remember that from last time you had me, that it's always that 2-part thing. There's the initial response to the prompt, and then there is the responses to your classmates. Being sure that you use references and in-text citations to show me that you have made connections to your learning or any other research you might have done. What you will notice starting in week 2, and this will be true for weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is you are in small groups. So you are going to be in those same small groups while you're writing all of your chapters. So hopefully you will get a chance to have some more dialogues with the same people while you're writing your chapters and be able to work with each other to support each other as you're beginning to write each of your chapters. And the other thing I would ask is that if you could please make sure that you check your emails and messages regularly. Sometimes if you turn something in a little bit early, I will take a look at it and I will message you to let you know if I think that there is an error or there might be an issue. And I want to make sure that you get those messages in a timely manner. You can do as I do, you can set alerts up. So I get an alert every time I get a message. So I know right away that I have a message and I get back to people as soon as I am able to. So those are my notes that I have to myself to make sure I cover with you. So for week 2, you're going to begin starting your overarching assignment for this class, which is your case study. So this week, you're going to observe your child. So hopefully all of you have found a child to observe. I know that some of you are working in schools already, and some of you are not working in schools. Those of you who are working in schools, it's probably very easy to get a child to observe, and it should be the same child for all of the different chapters. And then for those of you not working in schools, checking with a local childcare provider, a local school. I am more than happy to place a phone call or have them call me or email if they need verification that you are taking this class. Make sure you let anybody that you are asking if you can come in and do an observation know that you aren't planning on interacting with any children, and that the child will be anonymous. There will be no identifying information used in your case study. So that usually is helpful for the program. So this week we're going to start with the social and emotional development chapter, and there are materials for you to read and watch this week. We have some information about serve and return, about tools to assess social and emotional learning, about observation in general. And then I also gave you a link to the National Center for Pyramid Intervention. And some of you may already be familiar with that. There's also some videos for you to watch about social and emotional development and social and emotional development milestones. And then, of course, our discussion, which will be the same discussion that you will be having for each of your chapters. So make sure you go through and answer the prompts that are in the discussion. And remember that we're going to have the same discussion about each of the developmental areas as we go through in those same small groups. And then you're going to begin to draft do your first draft domain chapter. I did give you some exemplars. Now, I want to be very careful to let you know that these are not necessarily exemplary chapters. They are merely examples of chapters. But I also did give you a draft domain outline to help you write your chapter. So hopefully having all of that will help you. And then what will happen is I will then go through and provide you feedback on the chapters, and then you can go back in, make those corrections, and then hang on to that, because you're going to include this chapter at the end when you give me your completed case study, whether you choose to do it as a paper or if you choose to do a website. But save your chapter or your section of your website and make whatever edits might be suggested, and save it for your completed assignment at the end. So what we're doing is we are building each week on our case study. So hopefully all of this information is helpful. As always, I am available. I have office hours on Friday evenings, but if that doesn't work for you, just send me a message and I'm sure we can come up with a time to either chat on the phone or to set up a Teams meeting, and let me know how I can support you in this class and in your learning. Looking forward to week 2, and I can't wait to have you start digging into your case studies. Take care. Bye-bye.